Yeah, so this dad wants to get his son lessons, but doesn't want to spend $100 on baseball lessons for 4 hours. Instead, he can get baseball lessons for LeBron James for 20 bucks.
Oh shit! That'd be kind of lit though.
Hey, yo, Chad, what's up? Ah ha ha.
Oh, what's up, dog? Ha ha.
You ready to talk about business today? Ah ha ha.
Hell yeah, dude.
Bro, you know I'm at Sigma Chi at San Diego State? Ah ha ha.
Yo, I don't even know what that is, bro, but that's pretty sick, dog. Let's jump into this episode. Ah ha ha.
Alright on, dude. Ah ha ha.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Back with another Dropouts video. We dropped out of college, so you don't have to. Today, I'm interviewing my good buddy Gray, my buddy Gray fam.
That's right, bitch.
I'm gonna be talking with him about how he started his business.
Me.
A whole bunch of cool stuff. So yeah, that's basically gonna be the episode. My partner in crime here on the podcast.
Hell yeah.
Let's get this. So
back in business.
yeah. So starting off, I guess just explain like what kind of business you have, like what. For someone that doesn't know about like videography, how do you even make money shooting people in videos? Like what industry you're in and stuff like that.
Yeah, so basically, I run a sole proprietorship film business that's based in the motorsports industry. So cars, motorcycle, racing, anything that has to do with an engine, wheels, and going fast. So I'm predominantly focused with motorcycle racing. So all the sport bikes and street bikes you see on the street, we basically, teams and riders will take those and they will convert them into race prep machines. So they're faster, they handle better, they're lighter, and they look cooler. So I really work with a lot of teams and riders who take these machines and they trick them out pretty hard. So, and some of these bikes will get up to the millions of dollars, you know, like they get pretty advanced. Like we're at the point where motorcycles are starting to have wings on them. Well, my client has literally airplane wings sticking out of the side of the bike. It's actually pretty sick.
Man.
So, so a lot of my business revolves around that kind of industry and that genre, and it all started back when I used to race motorcycles, and we'll get into that a bit. But
yeah, those are my questions too. So
yeah, we'll dive into that in a bit. But basically, my entire business is based in that industry, which is actually a pretty small industry, especially here in the U.S. There's not a ton of people who are involved in it, and that's why it's kind of struggling. And so that's why we're trying to, me and a lot of other people are trying to bring it up and make it as big as it used to be, because it used to be a big deal. So, but yeah, I mean, that's the general idea of what my kind of business is. So, and then there's a lot of behind the scenes that we can dive into about how I run it and stuff. But
yeah, so that's like the industry part of it. So what? So you mainly, but if I were to give an explanation of what you are, is like you're a specialized videographer, photographer, like editor, After Effects, all that stuff. So where does your videography skills come into play when you're doing the automotive stuff or motorcycle stuff? Like, what is your objective when you're going out on track?
Yeah, so it's a very my whole system is about run and gun. You know, I want to make sure that my process is as efficient and quick as possible, because the way that race weekends work is you really only have 30 minutes for each session to film each rider. So we'll come into a session and I know I want to hit these 3 corners, and so I know that I think ahead before each session, you know, what angles do I want to get, because I walk the track before, I watch videos, I play games, I play games and go into the photo mode and then go take pictures and figure out the angles and stuff. And so I know exactly where I want to shoot. And I know what frame rates I want to do. I want to know if I want to do slow motion or raw. I know if I want to do 4K because it's a hard shot. I know all the stuff ahead of time because I plan ahead and I do my homework. So when it comes time to go in action, I know I'm going to set up here. I'm going to get this angle. I'm going to set these settings, you know, this f-stop, this ISO. You know, I'm going to balance everything. And I'm going to make sure that I get the shot as fast as possible, because I really only have 5 to 10 minutes to get that shot for however many riders I'm filming. So like this year I'm going to have 4 or 5 riders in each class that I shoot. So I have to make sure I get the shots for each rider when I go out. And it's a very stressful process, because you come into this and then you kind of have to go, okay, if I don't get this, I'm going to have to let go and just move on, because I don't have time to do the same shot for 20 minutes, because I just don't.
Yeah, you can't sacrifice like another shot for that one shot. Yeah, exactly.
No, it's a very, very fast-paced thing, and you really can't, like, you can't take your time, to so to speak. You really have to, you know, hit all your marks when you can. It's very similar to riding, you know, because I used to race, and so it'd be the exact same position as the riders. I'd have the 30 minutes to improve my time, and I have to learn the track sometimes, and I have to get all my marks down and stuff. So it's a very similar process, and that's also the reason why I adapted so quickly to it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's like you already have this experience with like videography and like what settings and all stuff, and then you were also a pro rider too, so that helps with like your perspective on like what the riders are doing and stuff. What kind of product do you deliver to your clients? So like you have you take videography and then you pair it up with this like industry. So what particular videos are you like putting out? What do your clients see like as an end product for their what they're paying you to do?
So something that makes me a little different than a lot of other videographers is I see, you know, when I sign a season-long contract with a client, I look at it and I think, okay, this is a collaboration. You are not hiring me to do a job. We're working together on a job. We're just gonna sign a contract and you pay me, you know. So I always look and think, how can I help you and how can you help me? How can it be mutually beneficial that we create something good? So a lot of clients look for social media content, you know, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Some clients want promotional videos, so we'll do a full-fledged 10-minute mini film about said event, you know. So like I have a client who we're gonna be doing, basically it's gonna be like round highlights where I'll interview all the riders, we'll get some behind the scenes, we'll get on-track footage, etc., cover all the races. But I also have another client who we are doing basically a TV series, mini documentary series, where each episode we follow everything that's going on, and that one took off pretty well. I think the second episode's up to 26,000 views, which is pretty good. Speaking, he only has like almost 1.5 thousand subscribers on YouTube, which is really good. And he's got a lot backing from Ducati and a bunch of other companies. So I'm actually going out there in a week and a half to go and work with him on the third episode, which is really cool. So those are like the big pieces that like my full-time clients will sign for. But I have a lot of other clients who will specifically request social media content, and this is a big part of my program compared to like the other video guys who work in my industry, especially here in the States. Is none of them really focus on the social media aspect. They don't post on Instagram. Like, you don't really see their content unless you follow their clients. Yeah. And that's something I'm trying to change. Is I'm taking my skills and my knowledge of social media marketing and really taking the footage that I have to target a younger audience who is into the kind of edits that I make because of this age range. Yeah. And it really allows me to connect with them and create some content that is engaging. It's ultimately how I grew so quickly, because I went from basically half a year, I only did 3 rounds, and only the people who I really knew through racing kind of like knew me, to the next season. Every round I was fully booked. I booked all 4 spots up, and then I was like set for each round, and people were like, we want you, we want you, we want you. And it was kind of cool, but it was also, you know, you had to keep your cool with it, because it's like I can't like get to my head. But it was a cool experience to know that I was growing and expanding, and people were starting to notice my stuff. You know, by the end I had some of the top riders who I hadn't really spoken to saying that they love my content, you know, and now I'm working with some of them, and it was a cool experience to see some of the people who wouldn't normally recognize you, because you have to remember, I used to be fans of these kids, the guys when I was a kid, you know. Yeah. Like one of my clients, I have a picture when I was you know, 11 or whatever, taking pictures next to him. You know, I used to be a fan, and now I'm working with these guys, and some of them are contracting me. It's pretty cool.
That's cool, like full circle stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I've been in the industry so long just because, I mean, I raced for 6 years before, you know. I mean, I traveled the country for 3 years, so I really got used to the aura, I guess, of being in a professional state. So it helped a lot in the beginning.
Yeah, it sounds like you're using like everything you're supposed to, right? You're using social media to get more clients. You know, other clients are seeing the work you're doing through you know other riders and stuff, and like you're using everything to your advantage, which is really smart. Yeah. But talk a little bit about you're like, you said you're a pro motorcycle racer for like 6 years. Talk a little bit how like what even like happens, like how do you like you know all that stuff.
Yeah. So basically, when I was 11, so first of all, my dad has always been into racing. You know, when I was 1, he got his first motorcycle and started riding, and then he actually was a pretty fast rider. He was really fast, like in like the regional area and stuff, and he was pretty up there. And so I kind of was always around there. There's pictures of me as a baby, like on motorcycles and stuff. And so I got my first motorcycle when I was 4. Absolutely hated the thing. I didn't like riding it. I'd spin around for 3 laps and I'm done. Which is ironic, so we sold it, and I literally lived like a normal kid life. I played soccer, baseball, you know, all the sports. You know, I went to school. I played with Legos. I got into video games, you know. And then when I was 11, my parents dragged me out to the World Championships up in Monterey, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna get dragged up in. I'm gonna start liking it. So I literally specifically brought my favorite toy because I knew I'd get into it, and obviously I did. And so it was like a week later, I went out to a track in the middle of the desert and hopped on a motorcycle for my real first time and fell in love. And so we picked up one up on the way home, and I just started riding. And so that was when I was 11. I started racing when I was 12, and I really started it started as for fun. And then obviously as I started growing, I needed to move up to bigger bikes. And so as I started getting bigger in size, I started moving up, and eventually went to 6-speed, and then I started getting to bikes with actual power. And then I went on to, and these are mini bikes, so they're a lot smaller, and then we run them on go-kart tracks. And when I was 14, at November 14, went out to my first big track, like full-fledged race course, and remember, this is on asphalt street, this is not on dirt, because I'm horrible on the dirt, it's horrendous. But, so these are, like, on asphalt tracks with sport bikes you see on the street. And I went on my first full-fledged racetrack, and that was a cool experience. And then after that, they announced the professional series was getting a revamp, the national series. And so they introduced a entry class for kids. It was age 14 through 21, 22 or something like that. And I was 15 at the time. And then we were like, you know what? Fuck it, we'll try. We'll join. So 2015, I made my professional debut in that class, and so we ended up traveling to all over the place, Utah, Alabama, New Jersey, like all over the place. And so that was my first like entry season, and it was. I mean, I'm racing against the best kids in the country. Like you can't ask for a ton. So it took me a little bit to get used to it. And so by my 3rd season's when I started actually really getting up in there. And so I was starting from my first season when I was running, you know, anywhere outside the top 10 to the top 20 because there was 30 kids racing in it. And so, you know, some races I finished 12th, some I finished 22nd, you know. But it came down to my 3rd season, which was my last one racing, that I actually started to pick up pace. Like I was getting competitive. It was my when we were up back at Monterey, when I first got a motorcycle at the track, I was finally I was racing on it, which is kind of cool. I remember coming on the front straight and looking at my board during practice and seeing P1. I'm like, oh shit, hey, I'm fast.
Hey.
Yeah, I know, right? So that was like the first, like, okay, we got something going on here. And so I was finishing, you know, 2nd, 3rd, 4th in all the sessions. So I qualified 4th, which I was right outside the front row. I'm so pissed about it, but it's okay. Went into the race, almost ran over a kid who crashed in front of me. We're not going to get into that. I dropped back to like 10th, And then I had to fight my way up, and I was battling for second, and it was a giant group, and came down the last one, and I almost took out a guy, and so I fell back to fourth and finished like, you gotta be kidding me. But like that was like the season of that was my peak. Like the winter before, we were doing a winter series, and I won three championships. I was winning majority of the races. Like I was at my peak. Like this was the best I've ever been, the fastest I've ever been. Like I want to stay humble here, but I was like, this was like all the years of work and practice finally paid off.
Yeah.
To the point where I was setting records and stuff, and so.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't last because my friends beat them, so, you know, fuck you guys, but it's okay. So I came down to the last West Coast race because we could only afford to do the West Coast rounds, and I was second the first 2 sessions, and then I crashed and sent myself flying in the air, so that was not good. Dude, I messed my back up so badly.
Dang.
It still hurts thinking about it. I had spasms running up down my back, and I tried going out for qualifying 2 and on Saturday, and I needed people to lift me off the bike because I couldn't move. It was so bad, dude.
Yeah.
So that's how my professional career ended. So then I moved up to a bigger bike, and I kept getting taken out by people. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to college. I'm gonna call quits for a bit. So
yeah, because it's with any like pro sport, I feel like the like overall like same kind of gist is like, injuries are just like your worst nightmare. Like right as you get injured, like any obviously like football is a huge one.
It's
obviously
bad.
like any automotive thing is really dangerous, and like basketball and soccer, anything like as soon as you injure something. So is that is that the majority reason why you stopped doing it, or you just kind of went to college and you're like, I'm just gonna pursue college? Or
well, first of all, back on the injuries thing, if you don't looking at weird things, don't look. But 3 breaks, 4 surgeries, baby. Same collarbone. That poor collarbone has experienced so much trauma. I feel bad for it. I don't know how that hasn't gone into depression. It probably has. That's why it so hurts when people push on it. Yeah, it was. I'm not gonna get into the details because gets pretty deep. But there were a bunch of reasons why it ended. But it was one of those deals where I agreed with my parents that I was gonna stop racing when I went to college because they wanted me to go 4-year college and focus on school and stuff because they knew I needed a degree.
Yeah.
Ironic.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just like I decided as a family that was like, I've been going at it for a while. To me, I achieved enough to a point where I was stoked on where I hit all my goals. We didn't even expect to go professional. Yeah. I just happened to have all the right mentors and resources in my corner to get to a level where I was fast enough, and now I still have some of the skills, where I'm among the faster the people when you go to track.
Yeah, that's sick.
But it was one of those deals where it's like college is coming up, that's more important. I was already kind of burnt out because I have a lot of friends who have experienced burnout just because I would be riding in the middle of the week, I'd be riding on the weekend, I'd be training out 3 times a day, 3 times a week, I would be mountain biking twice a week, and on top of this, I'm doing school full-time, I'm going to public school full-time, so I'm doing all this, and I was maintaining good grades too. I mean, I had a 3.9 overall when I, graduated, like I said in one of the previous episodes. I mean, there was one semester where I had a 4.5 until I fucked it all up finals week.
Don't even get me started. I'm telling you.
Don't even get me started. But so I was a good student, and it was just like afterwards I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take a break, and so I still ride occasionally, but it's just like I'm so busy it's not a priority.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I was kind of a similar. I wasn't really at a super high level, and when I played water polo, I was super that was my main sport.
Yeah.
I can relate to you a little bit, but I was never at it's kind of the same mentalities. Like school's kind of a priority. This is I've hit all my goals, and it helped me with discipline and working hard, and So I wanted to ask so what is your business like now? What is the state now? Do you are you happy with it? Do you have any new kind of goals for the future of your business, or is it more just so talk a little bit, I guess, about that, your goals for the future of it.
Yeah, so I've kind of made it a little bit clear that this is my business is not a lifetime thing. This is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. this is a transitioning period where I learn as much as I can about business, and I practice and I make mistakes. So when I go into a business where I'm actually going to try and make it big and expand massively, I've already had the experience on my belt, and I've done the super fun stuff, because I love my job so much. It's the funnest thing ever. And there's nothing, there's nothing better than getting that perfect clip. And you're like, I just nailed it, time to move on. You know, it's the best feeling ever. So I'm at a point where I'm very happy with my business. You know, I can go out and have a great time filming. And obviously, I mean, after going hardcore for so long, you get burnt out a little bit. So you just gotta find it fun. But the next big step, and this is something I'm trying to implement at the end of the year, is going to Europe, because Europe's where the money is at. This is where the business is at. There's some places in Europe where, but there's some places in Europe where motorcycling is bigger than like soccer, football.
Oh wow, okay.
Like there are some towns where you are a superstar if you race a motorcycle. That's just how it is.
Do you know any off the top of your head, or is it like, do you have no idea?
Tavullia, Italy is the biggest one, because Valentino Rossi is like the superstar of racing.
Gotcha.
Of road racing. He that's his hometown, and so you'll go there and you'll see his number flags waving all over the place. Like dude, it's bizarre. It's bizarre.
That's sick, man.
He has his own pizzeria. Like literally, he doesn't even own it. There's just fans that just like made a pizzeria dedicated to him.
Like, I love this guy.
Bro, that's a flex. I want to own a pizzeria.
I know.
So
yeah, just like I love this guy.
Yo,
like, make a pizzeria.
Dropouts Pizza. The best piece.
Oh my god, that'd be kind of funny. Like the ironic part was we should open it like right next to campuses.
Yes, yes.
So
we should buy out the franchise location for Domino's there. You know.
Oh yeah, it's like right
the franchise for Domino's. We should buy it out and then rename it Dropouts.
Yeah. Does anyone even go to Domino's? Like I've never. I don't think I've ever been to Domino's at that school. Like ever.
I had friends who. Yeah, I had friends who went in because it got really high one night, and they went in and bought a whole pizza and then brought it back to the Dome, and I had some. It was delicious.
Yeah, I love Domino's though. I feel like the alcohol or drug like everyone goes to like Trujillo's is like the popular one. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
The Mexican place.
Trujillo's? Yeah. All right. For reference, so I went to a dorm called South Campus Plaza. It's the newest, nicest one. It was a 6-story tall. Ha! You little.
It's like the worst. It's like the worst dorm in the school.
No. So there's a 6-story building. There's North and South Tower, and it was like the most renovated one. Like I was stuck in. I shouldn't say stuck there. I was in there. We had our own bathroom, showers, sinks. Like it was luxury. And across the street was this Mexican restaurant called Trujillo's. And it's where our dorm was located, and where that restaurant was is right along all the neighborhoods where all the frat satellite houses are. So that's where all the parties are. So at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., all the drunk party kids from the frat parties scurry their way over to Trujillo's and order food because they're drunk and hungry and high. Yeah. And they got hella munchies.
It's different though.
Dude.
Drunk or high, dude, like.
I can't relate, but even just like eating there at 1 a.m. is like, it's something different. No, and they got good food too.
The people in there at 1 or like I remember I didn't go that many times, but I've been there a handful of times, and like anytime I would go in like past like 1 or 2 or 3 in the morning, it was just like the weirdest ass people in there. Like
I went in at 1 a.m. I went to go to the bathroom and it was unlocked, so I walked in. There's a chick sitting on the toilet in the men's bathroom.
No, yeah, literally like shit like that. It was
weird.
It
was weird. Yeah. So fuck, what was I saying?
Just like about Trujillo's or something. About like I don't know what you're talking about. I guess it's just. Oh
no, sorry, we got off topic from the pizza thing. Anyways. So yeah, pizza. Anyways, so basically, pizza. Anyways, basically, my new goal is to really go transition to the European stage, because that's where all the money is. It's a lot harder because they're a lot stricter on media access.
Oh, okay.
Like there's some series where I can't even film on track. Like that's a big part of my business. I can't do that. So there's one series that I've been following for, and I have my eyes on. FIM Endurance World Championship can come for you. And I can get full access to film on track. I can go hop. I can do everything I can in Moto America, but on the European stage. And there's it's one of those fast growing series, so there's a lot of tension at it. And so I'm really trying to maximize how much attention I can get out of it, you know, social media wise, because there's a lot of big name riders, there's a lot of big name brands that are backing those teams, and so my goal is to go out and possibly start working with that series next year. I want to try and hit at least one race in a year, and then the World Superbike Series, which is the second biggest international championship. I've got the connections to go and film one of the races there, but it's one of those deals where I can't film on track. So I'm going to be doing hot pit, I'm going to do grid, you know, garages, all the riders and stuff, and so it's going to be a little tricky, but we'll figure. I got enough connections to do that, but for me, it's I'm just trying to reach out, because within the next 4 to 5 years, my goal is to be the #1 go-to guy in the world for motorsports videography, cinematography. I want to be the guy when all the MotoGP World Superbike teams are going to winter testing and need promos shot. I'm the guy that they call up,
Yeah.
And I feel like within 2 years, I'll be there, because I've been watching a guy over in Britain. He's probably, I'm gonna not say I'm the top of the level, I'm gonna say that he is, because he's on something else. I'm not gonna get too much into that, but he's got his stuff together, and so that's the level that I'm. And we got 2 different styles, but he's got some good stuff, and there's some stuff that I don't really understand, but I'm not gonna take away from him because he got good stuff. So
yeah. Everyone has a different style, it seems
like. He went from filming, so what I'm doing with Moto America, he's doing with the British Superbike Series.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And with BSB, and so he's now moving up to World Stage, because I saw him post up that he was in Qatar for the first round of the World Championships for MotoGP. And I don't know what he's filming. He doesn't post anything. I don't know what he was filming, but to be there, trackside like he was, is a big deal. So... Yeah. So I don't know if he's working for the series or whatnot, but he's gonna be up there. Yeah. So that's the level that I'm trying to get at. Eventually I want to be working with the series enough in the garages for them to allow me to trackside if I work with them in the production team. For American Flat Track, I'm gonna be working with them to get them content and stuff. So this year, and I have two plans for next year. It's either be Flat Track or going to Europe, or both, one or the other. But But the next stage is going international. That's definitely my goal.
The next step, yeah.
I mean, ideally, I'd like to do that full time next year, but I'm so the whole coronavirus thing really set it back. So if I'm gonna be able to, it's gonna take a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. It's have you ever, so you know all the angles and you have such experience filming, would you ever be open to directing a commercial for one of these motorcycle companies, or would you always want to be the filmer? Or the PD as it's called? Professional director?
Photography director.
Yeah, photography director, that's right.
If they said, we like your vision, we want to put up a lot of money for you to direct it, I'm not going to say no.
Yeah.
If I had a choice of, we're going to give you a budget, you go out and produce a good commercial for us, I'm going to be the one who wants to shoot, because
one
of the reasons my business is sole proprietorship is because I can only really trust myself to produce quality that I like.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
It's one of my biggest faults, but I just don't know how to explain what the shots that I want. And I can even explain as clearly as possible. I can give examples and stuff, and I probably will not be as happy with what I get unless I do it,
Yeah, you have to, it's like a sacrifice. You have to, I know we were listening to some of the bigger YouTubers, and most of the bigger YouTubers have editors full time. And I was watching a lot of their stuff explaining yeah, man, it's we have this set comedic timing stuff, and it's hard to find an exact editor or videographer with that same kind of comedy or vision that you have. It's a really hard thing to do.
And even editors, I probably won't. The thing is, I probably won't hire anyone while I run my film business. When I go into other stuff, yes, I will, because I'm not gonna have time to do that. But while I'm using this time to creatively express myself and to create content that I like, only I can do that at the moment. Because I see a lot of guys in the motocross industry, which is a separate one. Let's just make this clear. So this is something that annoys like all of us. Motocross are the dirt bikes that do jumps and go and they do everything on dirt.
Yeah.
Road racing is like the car racing tracks, you know, where they got turns and straights and stuff, and so that's what I do. A lot of the motocross guys are trying to do like special effects and stuff. I'm sorry, some of them just don't do it good. Like it's just out of place, looks weird. Like I managed to find a pretty good balance where I don't feel like I'm overdoing it and people aren't complaining about it, but it also adds a creative taste. Yeah. Because, dude, some people are, oh my god, I'm not even gonna get
that's the thing with After Effects I think you're really good at, is you have, like, the perfect amount where it's like, that is super cool, and it's like, it makes sense in the video, but other people are just like, they're fucking, like, outlining everything in the, like,
and, like, they half-ass and they can't,
and it's just, like, not right, it just, like, looks bad, so... That's why I see you have the advantage, like, a lot.
I'm not gonna, like, talk down on them. I mean, they're doing their thing, you know, I'm not gonna say anything against that, but, like... I definitely, I would consider it, but it would have to be the right deal for me, because I'm not gonna, I don't want to be put into I don't want to be put into a situation where I'm not prepared.
Yeah.
Because I spend the time to prepare all my shoots, but it's like, if it's something that, like, I didn't experience before, I don't really want to jump into too quick. Yeah. But I mean, like, I'm still preparing, but one of the things I did as a marketing scheme, which worked really well, was I made a documentary series last year about motorcycle racing in the U.S., which did pretty good. I haven't checked the stats, but I got, you know, 1 to 3,000 views each one for having. I mean, on YouTube I started with 180 subscribers, now up to like 700, really, which is pretty good. Yeah. Like Facebook was getting a bunch of views, and so Facebook it's like it grew all my socials really well, and I got a lot of you know, credit from it, and so it helped out tremendously. And that was a big stepping stone for me. And so, like, I kind of had that director's vision. That really transformed on my videos this year, because now I'm like, I would consider myself getting close to being an expert with storytelling, because I can understand how to storyboard a film. I know how to tell a story from beginning to end. I know how to make it flow together now. And obviously, I learned that from experience running it. But, like, now, like, so one of my clients' docu-series I was talking about, it's part of the reason it's doing so well is because I understand how I want to tell the story.
Yeah, and most people usually have no idea that videos even have a story. Like, most people don't even think about that.
And most people aren't supposed to know it does. Yeah. But the fact that it has a story helps it flow so much smoother, and it's just so much better, and people just like it. So it's like, it's one of those deals where I think that's, and I've talked to people who actually are in the film industry, like the movies, cinema, Hollywood, all that stuff. You know, they work with film festivals, and they've been told that they've broken it down and be like, the way you shoot these, the way you construct it to tell a specific emotion is qualities of a cinematographer. And they're like, you're not a film videographer, you're a cinematographer. And yes, I'm going to flex that on all of you.
That makes sense, though, yeah.
Like but it's like that's
there's a distinct difference.
Yeah. And like, I'm not talking anyone down. I don't want to talk any film people, because they all have their own style.
Less experience stuff too.
Well,
like,
it's not even it's not even that, because there are some people who've been doing it a lot longer than me.
Oh, okay.
I just have taken the time to self-educate myself and learn how to storytell and do it in a cinematic way, because there's a lot of people who are in the commercial space. They shoot commercials for Yamaha, the big manufacturers. They get a lot of money for that. But it's been the same for 10, 20 years, you know? Like, there's nothing special about it, you know?
It's not, like, innovative or anything.
No. And there's nothing wrong with that, because it works.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to say it works.
Yeah.
So, that's, like... Yeah, back to your question. I mean, I would consider it, because I definitely have the director's mindset, just because I have doing it. Like, I mean, I got asked to create a short film for a film festival, for a film week, San Diego Film Week, which I haven't even started. I need to, but I also need to hire a voice actor.
Person, right? Yeah, voice actor.
I'm gonna get a good voice person this time. He's gonna be British.
Yeah, that was like the major complaint with your
dude.
Like, the
everyone, I felt so bad.
And literally just like everyone was just like, why is this guy's voice like shit?
I thought it was fine.
That his voice is that bad, but like I guess I just wasn't expecting that. Everyone's used to like a certain kind of voice for like voiceovers.
I don't know what the voice. Well, because I was trying to model it off of another series, which I like the dude's voice.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm gonna have other people like find me certain ones that they like, because clearly my taste is like not what everyone else's, because I like the My Guys, but
yeah, everyone's used to like a British like nature like geographer, like you know those guys. That's why everyone's
Morgan
like,
Freeman.
Yeah,
I want to get Morgan Freeman to narrate the second season of my documentary series. So, but anyways, yeah. So that's like kind of the answer to your question ish.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so another question I wanted to ask you, Gray. So do you have any? You mentioned a little bit that you wanted to go into like some other industries and not stay into the like you know motocross or road racing industry with like videography. What other industries are you looking at, or are you going to do any other like types of businesses, or are you just kind of going with the flow? Or are you looking to expand your business right now, or like what are your plans for the future for business in general?
Sorry, these Oreos are stale.
Is that even a thing? Can they get stale?
Apparently.
Oh, I get yeah,
lemon
like,
Oreos.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's why.
Lemon.
I don't think
lemon
it's
Oreos.
obviously real lemon, but I don't think I ever had a lemon Oreo.
Natural flavor and other natural flavoring.
Does it slap or not?
I mean, it did when it wasn't stale. All right. Anyways, yeah. So,
dude, there's so many ants in my room.
Really?
I don't know why.
I have the problem with my apartment, dude.
Dude, like literally, like so many bees fly in my room, ants, like all these little creatures like my room for some reason. I guess I'm out in a shed. I'm literally out in a shed. So
you literally live in a shed. Of course, there's gonna be ants and bees.
Yeah.
You should be a beekeeper.
Dude, little do we know, it's a crazy industry with lots of money in it. Probably, honestly.
Yeah. All right, I totally forgot your question. Can you ask it again?
Yeah. So like. So I just want to ask you, like, finally, like, what are your goals for, like, so you wanted to get in, you said you wanted to, you know, do this, industry for maybe, you know, like, a couple more years, 5 years down the road.
Yeah.
Were you looking at expanding into other industries or getting into a different level in this industry, or, like, what other kind of businesses were you thinking about starting, or are you just kind of going with the flow, and, yeah, I just wanted to get your...
Yeah, so, it's one of those gray spaces where I'm not really limiting myself to one thing. Sorry, your time went off. It's a weird thing where it's like, I'm not really trying to limit myself to one option or another. Like, I definitely want to go into the tech space because I feel like that's becoming ever more valuable.
Yeah.
I mentioned back in another podcast that we I came up with the idea at 3 a.m. Thanksgiving morning when I couldn't fall asleep in bed about it was a tech ed app. It was basically supposed to be an app where you can learn how to do any sport from your smartphone or your tablet or whatever. And the idea was that it would be these classes where you would learn, you know, how to do skateboarding, learn how to do, like, ride motorcycles, do BMX, whatever sport it was.
Yeah.
But the idea was that we would get athletes of the highest caliber, you know, top-level athletes that were professionals to come and teach these lessons, you know?
Yeah, it's like Masterclass, right? The same business model?
Yeah, it's based off the app Masterclass, but it's directed towards sports, you know? Yeah. That mother, that father that sees his son has insane amount of skill for talent, you know, rather than spending, you know, $100 a day for 4-hour lessons for baseball, they can spend $20 for a class online taught by, I don't follow baseball. Do you know any players?
For what?
Baseball?
I don't watch sports that much.
I don't yeah, I don't watch sports either. I work. I stay up till yeah, I just work. I don't have a life. Okay, a baseball player, a really high one that plays for...
They say like LeBron James, that's like a super stereotypical basketball player.
Yeah,
or
okay.
Like,
yeah. Okay, no, okay, we're good, okay. Yeah, so this dad wants to get his son lessons, but doesn't want to spend $100 on baseball lessons for 4 hours. Instead, he can get baseball lessons from LeBron James for $20.
Oh shit! That'd be kind of lit though.
That would be kind of cool. Yeah. I was waiting for you to catch that, but like that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be kind of funny.
No,
I'd
so
pay
like
more
it was
for that class actually. I want to see LeBron James play baseball.
Or Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, like someone
Imagine Shaq.
Oh
Shaq, giant dude playing baseball and just trying to swing a small bat.
Or like piano, like he's like, all right, his fingers are so fucking big they can just grip the basketball, and he's literally just like, so
it's like
you know,
Hulk
we're just
trying to play the violin.
We're starting with this key today. Like, oh my god, it'd be hella funny. I would pay so much money to see that.
Oh my god, that's great. You gotta clip that for the intro.
Mm.
No, so, basically, that was the idea. So like, for instance, if this kid was just, big into skateboarding, he loved it, but he was trying to learn a certain trick. And he wanted to, he learned, like, the trick on YouTube or something. And he wanted to learn more, but, like, all the videos weren't helping him, and he wanted to get actual lessons to learn. And his parents, instead of having to spend, like I said, $100 a day or whatever it is, they can go and for like $3, they can learn a lesson on whatever trick it is taught by Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Or Nigel Houston, you know, whatever it is. And that was the idea, and it was bringing all these high-level athletes together. And this was a really cool experience coming together, and I spent probably 4 months, you know, learning all the basics of app building, you know, getting CDMs together, you know, getting servers and databases and connecting all the two and using I think it was AppKit and
there's so much stuff like infrastructure, back-end infrastructure with apps, like it's crazy.
Dude,
so
it's
much
crazy.
money
and so
too.
I literally went out and had meetings with professors, business people. I was asking people like, what are your thoughts with marketing? And I learned so much about what it takes to build an app. And we'll get into all the financials and stuff in another episode, because I can go on that for a while.
Yeah, that's like a whole other subject on itself.
And honestly, I kind of want to do I do want to do an episode about this whole app and go into the details. Cause I had an entire currency system built in about how you could earn stuff, you know, and how it goes into the whole back end and deals with getting ads and marketers and stuff. And it had a couple road bumps, but the ultimate reason we didn't pursue it is because he was already busy enough with his business. I was busy enough with mine.
Yeah.
I didn't have the money to pursue it, and I didn't really want to go after VCs because it takes so much time.
It was a big risk too, you know.
It was a big risk because we didn't have the time or the resources or the knowledge.
I don't think we were. Yeah, if we both like didn't have any business going, I feel like it'd be way easier. But we were already so busy with school and like business, and we're just like, how are we gonna do this? Like, there's no way.
Well, and it also cost us $500,000 to
like,
start the damn
we'd
thing.
Have to be super,
and what happens if it doesn't work? What happens if no one buys it? You know, it's just like there was too much risk.
Yeah.
For the success factor, so it was like it just wasn't worth it, and in the end we decided not to pursue it. But I mean, I'm not too upset we didn't. I think it was for the better.
Yeah, we learned a lot about like, you know, it's kind of like a different. There's like, I think we should do an episode on like small business versus big business for entrepreneurs. Like we both have small businesses, kind of, and like
I've gotten insight into like big business.
Yeah, big business is crazy. Like it's so political, and like there's like dealing with VCs, like with everyone that doesn't know, it's like a venture capitalist, or like when you're taking rounds of seed
angel
funding
investors.
from angel investors, like they just want to take like a huge percentage of your
and I've dealt with big corporations too, because I've been contracted by big corps, and like the difference between like small business and big corps. You either have a PayPal payment of $200 or a check in which you had to send in a W-9, you had to send in all these forms to get it signed. It takes 3 weeks to get paid and all this shit.
And the contracts are like, so much more complicated too. Yeah,
dude,
it's
like,
crazy.
I don't,
because they have lawyers on their side. They have like, you know, whole legal teams. They have marketing teams. They have entrepreneurship teams. They're like,
she's a lawyer.
Yeah,
I have my aunt. She's a lawyer.
I know. Dude, that's one thing I'll never cheap out on is lawyers and accountants. That's what I've heard.
Accountants. Those two are the things you never cheap out on.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll be honest, I've been slacking on my expenses. And so I haven't made a ton of expenses, but I've been slacking on them a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but, like, for me, I definitely want to go back down that route because I had a lot of fun learning about that stuff and, like, experimenting with starting an app like that.
Yeah.
I definitely want to try and do some sort of tech-related thing because I am computer techie, you know, I know a lot about stuff. I mean, I'm pretty much an engineer at heart just because, like, I when I was racing, I fixed my bikes, I rebuilt my motors. I obviously with the help of my dad because I was learning, but like I can do my own oil changes on my cars and trucks. I can do all that stuff. So I have the engineer mindset, and I have the technical skills for a computer. So like I feel like programming is not hard for me because I have experience with like Java and stuff. So like that's definitely something that I want to slowly dive into.
Yeah.
Down the line is start some sort of tech business that will blow up,
Yeah.
Like the next big social media thing, whatever it is.
That'd be cool. That's crazy. That's such a crazy, like, have you heard of the new, there's like a, TikTok was the big one. They just pump so much money into that app, like it's disgusting. Same with,
well, and all it is Musical.ly, but or is it Thrill? It's like Musical.ly, but they just like rebranded into new app, and no one realized it, and then they just hopped on, and that's the biggest thing. They probably made like $1 billion in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, dude. They like the way they structure that app is insane. Like they make it, everyone goes viral. Like everyone thinks they're like
that was the smartest
now,
thing.
And like it's
that
so
was
funny.
the smartest thing is that they made the algorithm perfect for growth.
It's crazy.
And like I literally was talking about to one of my photographer buddies. He's Mackenzie. He's really good with car photography in San Diego. And everyone's been complaining about algorithm on Instagram, and I think you can attest to that too.
Yeah.
We were talking about starting a semi-exclusive app it was Instagram, but for photographers and models, photography pages, etc., where you had to apply to be a part of it, to post. Anyone can join it and follow stuff. So it's like a mix between Instagram and Pinterest. Anyone can follow it can download to follow.
Yeah.
But in order to post, you had to apply. You had to show that you're going to be active. You had to have a good enough portfolio, which we weren't going to be too harsh on as long as you're into photography. And the algorithm we're going to custom build the algorithm to be perfect for growth. And it would target and change based on what people like. And it would the entire algorithm would be, if Instagram algorithm was 80% home, 20% like explore, we would flop it. So it's 20% home, 80% explore. It's all about growth. Because the idea is that we were supposed to change it so that people can get more engagement and people can grow in it and ultimately get more business.
Gotcha.
And obviously none of us are in the position to start that. But that was like an idea, that was a problem that a lot of people were having. And if we target it towards photographers and, people who need inspiration, it was a good market that we could potentially tap into.
Yeah.
Stuff like that I want to invest my time in once I have enough money,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'd be cool.
So.
And then anything like, I wanted to end off kind of on like, any tips for like young entrepreneurs or anyone that wants to get into like videography or even like pro racing or any like tips you can give would be sweet.
Experience. Practice experience.
Yeah.
You can't expect to go in like any other business. You can't expect to go in this and just be
good. Yeah.
An overnight star. Like I said in one of the previous podcasts, like my business, what seems like an overnight success, it feels like an overnight success, was 6 years in the building.
Yeah.
Through connections I made through racing. And honestly, like if you want to go deeper, it's 20 years in the making from the connections my dad made. When he raced and he was sponsored by Hot Bodies Racing, they were my first clients because they sponsored him, and through knowing him, the guy who runs it sponsored me.
Yeah.
And then once I stopped racing, he found out I was doing videos. He asked me to film one of his riders.
Yeah, networking is so important.
It's so important, dude. And so that's my second thing is once you have the experience, you gotta start networking.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain amount of extroverted outgoingness, if that's a word. I don't know.
It's hard. Like I remember when I was starting out, like I'm an introvert, right? Like
me too.
I'm way better at it now, but man,
I'm an outgoing introvert.
Yeah, I had to force myself to like talk to people, and like it was bad, or reaching out, or like emailing, or even in person talking to people. Like it was I had to force myself. It was crazy.
It's weird. I'm like on the verge of being an extrovert and introvert, but
there's
I
one
had
that's
a really
both
bad.
Too.
I guess I'm both, but I'm more of an introvert now because I had a really bad crash in 2017, and I had a really bad concussion that like knocked me. Like I I was out of school for 3 weeks. Like, I was knocked out for a good 30 seconds. Like, I was, like, it was bad.
That's bad.
It was bad, dude.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was a super, I turned into an introvert. Like, I had social anxiety, you know, I had all these issues and stuff, and, you know,
hit your head.
I still have,
hella hard.
yeah, like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I still have a lot of my words. That didn't happen before my concussion. Like, my mind races, and my mouth can't keep up.
Yeah.
And so, like, I stutter a lot now. Like, it's bad. And that all happened from my concussion. So, like, after my concussion, I had social anxiety, and it took me up until the end of last year to get over that. So now I'm getting back to, like, being able to go out and talk to people. I still have it a little bit.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm perfectly fine keeping my room and just doing stuff to myself, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one of the reasons why I'm so good at working and not, like, having to hang out with people.
Yeah. Is
because I have that introverted self to myself. And I think a lot of it, entrepreneurs are introverts to an extent.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because if you are not an introvert, it's really hard for you to sit in one place and work and work and work.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, it helps. Yeah, a little bit because it's like, I mean, I'm perfectly happy like editing for 15 hours straight and like watching a podcast, like just watching a podcast or hearing other people. Like, I'm chilling with that. But like you know, some people like they can only sit. You know, like especially when we were little too, like I had friends that like they couldn't be in a classroom for 40 minutes. Like it was just like so it was it just so
yeah, but so my biggest thing is the experience. So if you don't have the experience and you don't go out and practice, then you can't get good at all, you know. Like the way I first started getting into the motorsports videography was going out to a local motocross track. It's free entry. A lot of the ones here in SoCal, you don't really need like a vest as long as you don't get hit or run over and you know what you're doing. Like definitely try and ask if it's your first time going to a racetrack. Ask for the rules, you know. And they're gonna be really relaxing motocross track. They're basically gonna say, don't get hit, don't cross the track when a bike's coming. It's basically it, you know. And so that was where I really started perfecting my skills because you can get up close with guys as long as you don't hit them. You know, there's plenty of skills riders. There's the fast pros who come out during the week, and then there's the everyday riders on the weekend. So if you want to start with slower riders so it's easier to lock on and focus and stuff, you can go do one of those. And when you get more skill, you can go out the pros. And a lot of them, if you start getting good, they'll post your stuff for free, and then it's
because it's good content for them
marketing.
too.
Oh yeah, that's what a lot of kids now are doing nowadays. They'll go out with the camera and a lens and a tripod and go film and make a quick video, and then people post it up, you know.
Yeah.
And so, real quick before we wrap up, it was a funny story. So I was filming with a bunch of Supercross pros a couple days ago, and we were at this private track in this dude's backyard. And one of the dude's sons comes over and is like, hey, I haven't seen you there before. I'm like, no, you, sir, have not, because I'm coming to take over this space. Like, I was like, I'm coming for all you guys. So we chatted for a bit, and I explained to him that I do all the road racing stuff, but it was kind of cool, so. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, and this goes with anything. If you don't practice, you're not going to get good.
Yeah.
Riding, any type of filming. If you want to become a filmmaker and you don't know what space, go out with your friends and make a quick video.
Yeah.
Make a 5-minute short film, you know, and really. And the other thing is take time to learn. Watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Like
read self-educating
books, you know.
and stuff. Yeah.
Self-educating is huge, and that's one of the reasons I have not taken a single class on my video stuff.
Yeah.
I made a business fully built on self-education.
Yeah.
And that's something that's really hard, but that's what I started on, so.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I mean, that's the best advice that I have to anything in life,
yeah,
really.
Yeah, even life, too,
yourself.
yeah, like,
you gotta educate yourself. You have to go out of your way to achieve your goals, which means networking, and you have to practice. I mean, that's the basis of it. So.
Yeah, no one gets like good. I mean, obviously you could say like people like in their best industries like LeBron James, any racers, any like people that are even like smart doctors, like you know they don't get to their level in a year or 2 years, and maybe even not 5 years. Some people, it's always different for people, and people put different time into it and have certain kinds of luck. But like usually you got to put a lot of time into something to get good at it, or
100%.
good at make money off of something. But yeah, so yeah. That was the boy, Gray Fam. Yeah, nice. So do you want to end it off with the outro, or okay?
Yeah, I will. Alright, so, so that's today's podcast. Hope you guys liked it. We definitely want to start bringing more people on. I think we're going to record another one about his business, which will probably air in a couple days. We definitely want to start bringing on other entrepreneurs, you know, future entrepreneurs that have questions and want to ask and get input, because we seem to have a pretty good eye for that kind of stuff. So if you guys have anyone that you want us to try and get on, drop a comment below, list some people. If you want to come on, you can DM us on Instagram. We'll drop our socials below. Anything else? Like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I mean, we're going to be pumping out content a lot in the next few weeks.
We're making a lot of content for you guys.
Dude,
during this quarantine session. Gotta pop up
we're going
the
to teach you
content.
guys. Hell yeah, dude. We're going to teach you guys some cool stuff. We're going to bring some hot girls on soon. It's going to be a whole shindig.
Stay tuned. Alright, guys. See you guys in the next one.